So my name is Urvesh, and rather than creating a separate slide on who am I just thought of presenting my LinkedIn profile, right? So currently I'm working as a cloud security operations center at Informatica. I'm working over there. I have cleared a few industry level certifications like CHFI, ETHP, CTIA, ECIH, CND, DCPLA. At the same time, I'm studying cyber psychology as well. Currently, I am president at India's one of the leading cybersecurity and cyber defense NGO. And at the same time, so there is a null community in India, which you guys might be known with the name of NullCon, right? International Security Conference Group. So each of the NullCon like chapter has a null chapter as well within each and every city of India. So currently, I'm the Null Pune chapter leader. Okay, so I've been into this field around since like 4.5 to 5 years now. So I have worked on various verticals, you can say. So initially when I started my career, I was into web application and bug bounty and all those areas. Within a year, I thought, okay, that's not my cup of tea. I went into digital forensics and cybercrime investigation. I did my diploma in cybercrime investigation. I worked with a few LEAs. I worked with few private investigation firms. And then I basically diverted myself into the world of blue teaming, into the world of security operations, corporate security. And since then, I started exploring SIM solutions, blue teaming, DFIR, and threat hunt, and all those areas, right? So you can just connect up with me on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram, wherever is convenient. You can basically see what I have done so far, right? And you can engage with whatever I'm sharing on these interactive social media platforms. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and open up the quick presentation mode, or it's fine even if you don't open the presentation mode. Okay. So talking about Wazuh, right? In this particular session, I'll be talking about Wazuh, what Wazuh is basically, and how we will be leveraging it in upcoming sessions, right? So talking about the official one-line definition of Wazuh first. It is nothing but it's just a free and open source security platform that unifies XDR and SIM capabilities. Okay, now this is where I'll be diving into the world of SIM and XDR over here. Now, before I move on to that, just one quick important note from my end is that Wazuh is a solution, right? It's an entire solution. It's an entire tool set. So as I said, a lot of engineering goes into in building these kind of tools and components, correct? So instead of covering the Wazuh architecture, so why do we need to understand the architecture of a SIM solution? See, it's just like how to use a tool, but you have to understand the tool, right? See, using the tool is very simple. I can tell you that click on this button, click on that button, and it's done. But the focus should be on understanding the tool. And when I say understanding, I mean you have to understand its architecture. Now, the only announcement from my end is that I won't be touching the architecture part of Wazuh in this particular session. Because the moment I say that I am touching the architecture part, rather than practical, it goes into a theoretical session wherein a lot of theory and explanation and all those things have to be taken care of. And yes, that theory is important. You cannot deny that, right? But instead of starting off with the architecture, the complex terminologies in the very first session itself, I thought, why not to start this series with an easy peasy topic, right? Like just getting started and just installation in a very quick and efficient way, right? So this is just one announcement. Going forward, what all you can expect, I'll be coming to those areas as well in this session. Okay. So in order to make you understand, so first of all, before I even go forward, right, I just want to understand how many of you people are aware of a SIM solution. Now, if you guys could just write down in the chat, that would be great. Now, I'm just doing this to ensure that even if we have less participants, we keep it more interactive. Okay, aware about SIM. Awesome. So there are like a few participants, I can say. who are aware of SIEM solution, but still, just to keep the momentum of the first series, right? So like it's a series that we are starting, so I have to go from scratch. So there would be people who would be basically seeing the session even after it's ended, right? Via recordings and all. Awesome. So I'll just quickly explain in very simple term, right? Now, I'll just try to make it as interactive and simple as possible. Let me just do one thing. I'll just take a shape over here. That would be better. Yeah. So I'm just drawing a few squares over here. I'll tell you what these are. Okay. Now consider this entire box as your infrastructure. Okay. So this is your infrastructure. Okay. Now what all, like, even if it's a small scale infrastructure, what are these basically? These are nothing but, these are your endpoints or assets or machines. In a very simple term, these are but your nothing but your machines. Okay. So let's say in your infrastructure, this 1, 2, 3, 4, these are 4 Windows machines. This 1 and 2, these are 2 Linux machines, right? This is one Mac OS over here. Okay. Now let's say there will be routers as well, right? There will be hub, correct? There will be firewalls, right, etc, and so on, correct? So this is just an idea of that, like, in an infrastructure there could be multiple endpoints, right? Now, do you agree that each of these endpoints does contain some information, like, which I can call as logs, right? Do you agree? Each endpoint would have some logs. Windows would have some logs, Linux would have some logs, right? Even firewall would have some logs. Now, just to understand in a bit more easy manner, right? So if I just talk about Windows over here, right? So what kind of logs we can expect from a Windows machine? Probably authentication logs. We can expect security logs, application logs, system level logs, correct? Some of the different type of logs. Okay. Now, just to make it more simple, an event or a log is nothing but some action taken at that point in time. Okay. So let's say it's 11:17 a.m. right now in India. Okay. So on 11:17 a.m., I log in into my machine. So that login success or a login failure event. So that depends whether I have entered my password correctly or incorrectly. Correct. But if I'm trying to do some login attempt, now, whether that login is a success or a failure, that is nothing but a log in a most simple manner I'm explaining right now. Okay. So log is nothing but any action that was performed in that point in time, right? So that is nothing but log. Those are in terms of an SIEM, those are called as events.